Scotland is a land of breathtaking beauty, majestic mountains, deep lochs, and a dramatic coastline, but this stunning landscape is shaped by its famously unpredictable weather. You can experience all four seasons in a single day. One moment, the sun shines over a glen. The next, fierce wind and rain sweep in from the Atlantic. This wild weather is no accident. Scotland sits on the edge of Europe, right in the path of major weather systems. Warm Gulf Stream waters bring milder, wetter conditions, while cold Arctic air is never far away. This creates a constant battleground in the skies above, leading to Scotland's ever-changing weather. Even small shifts in global weather patterns can have a big impact here. Events thousands of miles away, high above the North Pole, can directly affect daily life in Scotland. One of the most powerful of these phenomena is the polar vortex. You may have heard the term, often linked to extreme cold snaps and heavy snow. It's not science fiction, but a real and powerful force in our atmosphere. When the polar vortex misbehaves, Scotland's wild weather can turn truly extreme. So, what exactly is the polar vortex? Picture a huge, spinning mass of icy air high above the North Pole during winter. It's held in place by a strong band of winds called the polar night jet stream, a kind of atmospheric fence. As long as this jet stream is strong, the vortex stays put, and Scotland's winters remain relatively mild. But sometimes, the jet stream weakens and becomes wavy. The vortex stretches, even splits, and cold air escapes south. It's like leaving the freezer door open. Arctic air spills out. This frigid air doesn't wander aimlessly. It plunges south, bringing extreme cold to North America, Asia, and Europe. For Scotland, close to the Arctic, this can mean a direct hit. The usual weather patterns are disrupted, and the country is slammed by a wave of cold it's not used to. The result? Widespread disruption and a taste of true Arctic winter. The polar vortex is a normal part of our climate, but when it breaks down, the consequences can be dramatic. Understanding it is key to predicting Scotland's most severe winter weather. To understand why the polar vortex sometimes breaks down, we need to talk about the jet stream. The jet stream is a fast-flowing river of air high above the Earth, driving weather in the mid-latitudes, where Scotland sits. It separates cold polar air from warmer southern air, and steers storms across the globe. When the temperature difference between the poles and tropics is large, the jet stream is strong and straight, bringing predictable weather, but it can develop big meanders, called Rossby waves, which slow it down. These waves can cause weather systems to stall, leading to prolonged cold or warmth. Sometimes, a large wave in the jet stream pushes north, disturbing the polar vortex above. This can trigger a sudden stratospheric warming event. Temperatures over the poles spike, and the vortex weakens. The weakened vortex lets Arctic air spill south, guided by the now wavy jet stream. Scotland, caught in this atmospheric drama, can suddenly find itself in the grip of severe winter. The jet stream and polar vortex are tightly linked. When one wobbles, the other often follows. This chain reaction is behind some of Scotland's most memorable cold snaps. It's a reminder of how interconnected our planet's weather systems truly are. Scotland's geography makes it especially vulnerable to polar vortex events. Sitting at a high latitude, close to the North Pole, it's one of the first places hit when Arctic air escapes south. There's little to block the cold as it sweeps over the Norwegian Sea. Scotland is also at a crossroads of global air masses. Warm, moist Atlantic air to the west, cold, dry Arctic air to the north and east. Usually, the Atlantic influence wins, giving Scotland its mild, wet climate. But when the polar vortex weakens, the balance tips. Weather starts coming from the east or northeast, bringing air straight from Siberia or the Arctic. As this bitterly cold air crosses the North Sea, it picks up moisture, perfect for heavy snow. An easterly wind in winter signals a dramatic change. The maritime buffer is gone, and Scotland faces a continental winter. The highlands force moist air to rise, dumping even more snow, especially in the east. This setup makes Scotland uniquely exposed to the chilling impacts of a weakened polar vortex. Geography, more than anything, puts Scotland in the firing line. When the vortex breaks down, Scotland is often first to feel the freeze. It's a tough spot on the map, one that shapes the country's weather and its people. When the polar vortex weakens, a chilling chain of events unfolds. It starts high in the stratosphere with a sudden spike in temperature over the Arctic. This signals the breakdown of the winds containing the vortex. It takes a week or two for these effects to reach the surface, giving meteorologists a crucial window to warn us. As the jet stream buckles, it can reverse direction over the UK, opening a pathway for Siberian air. Scotland, being the most northerly part, is often first in line. Temperatures plunge, wind, chills, bite, and the air is dry until it crosses the North Sea. There, it picks up moisture, creating relentless snow showers for eastern Scotland. The result: extreme cold, heavy snow, and blizzards that can paralyze the country. Roads close, transport halts, and daily life is disrupted. All this is triggered by an event that began weeks earlier, high above the North Pole. It's a powerful reminder of how events in the upper atmosphere can cascade down to affect us all. The polar vortex's reach is long, and Scotland is often in its path. The most vivid recent example was the Beast from the East in early 2018. A sudden stratospheric warming event split the polar vortex, sending a blast of Siberian air toward Europe. When the cold hit Scotland, temperatures plunged and wind chills made it feel even colder. For the first time, a red weather warning for snow was issued for central Scotland. Relentless, powdery snow was blown into massive drifts, burying cars and blocking major roads. Hundreds of drivers were stranded overnight. Transport ground to a halt. Airports closed, trains and buses stopped, and supermarket shelves emptied. The Beast from the East was more than just a snowstorm. It was a national emergency. Emergency services and utilities were stretched to the limit. The event showed how quickly modern life can be disrupted by nature's power. It was a stark reminder of Scotland's vulnerability to polar vortex events. The effects of a polar vortex event go far beyond snow and travel chaos. Prolonged cold threatens health, especially for the elderly and vulnerable. Hospitals see more cases of respiratory problems and hypothermia. The economy suffers as businesses close and transport stops. Farmers struggle to care for livestock, and crops can be damaged. Infrastructure is strained, pipes freeze, power lines fail, and some communities lose water or electricity for days. Wildlife is also affected. Birds and fish can struggle to survive in extreme conditions. These events test the resilience of people, services, and nature alike. The polar vortex's impact is felt across every part of Scottish life. Every major event, like the Beast from the East, teaches us valuable lessons. In 2018, improved forecasting gave days of warning, allowing authorities to prepare. Advance notice meant gritters, snowplows, and emergency plans were ready. Public health campaigns helped people stay safe and check on neighbors. Preparation is key to reducing the impact of severe weather. We can also build more resilient infrastructure, better insulation, snow fences, and robust utility plans. As the climate changes, the polar vortex and jet stream may behave differently. A warming Arctic could mean more frequent breakdowns and extreme events. Continued research and monitoring are vital to improve forecasts and keep society ready. Understanding the science helps us adapt to a future where extreme weather may be more common. The polar vortex's impact on Scotland shows how interconnected our climate truly is. An event above the Arctic can have direct consequences thousands of miles away. Understanding these links isn't just academic, it's vital for safety and resilience. By studying the jet stream and polar vortex, we can predict and prepare for what's ahead. This knowledge empowers us to build a society that can withstand nature's extremes. As the Arctic warms, these connections will only grow more important. The story of Scotland and the polar vortex is one of geography, physics, and the power of nature. By understanding it, we learn how to live more safely and wisely on our remarkable planet.